Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to trade live so that you get more of a understanding on what I'm looking at and how I trade. So I always trade around this time, which is local time, but it's UTC plus 11. I don't know what that means. I was hoping it would be like New York time I could add, but can't do that. So okay. Here on the US Euro USD, we have two green candles. I don't love this because this candle's quite long compared to all the others. You can see like the size of the others. Let's measure them up. Like here you got 70. That was a bit dodgy, but 45-ish, 60. You get the point. Where this one is 137. We've pulled back a little bit during the end of the session, but you could probably place it, but I don't love this. I don't like the way that the previous one takes out the high for the previous high. I'm just not touching this today. Here we have the pound USD. I would call this candle a little bit dodgy. It's a bit of a doge candle. It's not the worst. What do we got here? 40. It's a little bit dodgy, but this is actually what you call a doge, by the way. It's got no body. So it's not as dodgy as I thought. Actually, when I was looking at this last night, this was my favorite setup when it was back up here. But it's come back. So okay, I am going to place this one, but it's not my favorite one. So I do the 2%. I do it off 2% of what the account was for the month. So at the start of the month, I only had $1,000. So 2% is $20. So here I go down a little bit past the previous low, which, like I said before, was about 40. So I go 40 plus 1 for the take profit, so that'd be 41. So we go 40, and then I want this to equal 20, or close enough. So we got 17, and then 23. I always go a little bit over. I'd rather be over than under. So we got 23. There we go. Next one, US CAD. This one I quite like. I like this a lot, actually. I like it for two reasons. The previous ones here and here, which I did place this trade, and actually it was one of the first losses we had after we had a big streak of wins, and then this one and the US Euro USD were the first two losses I had after a big streak of wins. So I always like a good trade after I've had a loss. So this was the loss here. And also, we've got two down candles. They're both solid. They both fit my criteria very nicely. In fact, if I was looking in an ideal world, this is exactly what I look for. I like the first candle to be little and the second one to be a lot longer. Or I like them to be very similar length. They're my two best setups. And they're definitely ones we look at taking. So I look a little bit above. 55. Not an exact science. It's just, it's about 10 to 15% above or below, depending on what direction you're placing. And after you do it a lot, you just kind of eyeball it. So then we look at about 20 again. 40. So same thing, right? So we'd have 3 would be, 0.03 would be below. So I go just above. Place this one. And then this one, okay, I might actually do 3% on this one because the previous one was a loss. Sometimes I like to do 3% if it's a really, really good trade. So 3% would be $30. So we go 5, 29, there we go, a little bit more. So, there we go. Here, US CAD. Now we look at Japan, US Japan. I don't know why, I am dyslexic in real life, but I don't know why I'm reading all these backwards. It is very early here though for me. So this one I don't like. See here we have two greens, but the first green was fine. But I would only take this trade if we closed yesterday more up here. So this was a more solid. I really don't like when it wicks down past or very close to the previous low. So for this one, it's not for me. It's currently in a very strong uptrend, so it's probably going to be a profitable trade if you did place it from here upwards. But I will be giving this one a miss on my live account. I also have a demo account too, which is linked in the description, which I place all the trades with the setups, even if they look dodgy. Every single one, just so I can track overall what it looks like. And it's easier for me to say, okay, it didn't fit my criteria, but what would have happened? You really shouldn't look at it like that, but I like to know. I just like to keep track of how everything plays out, so that in the future I can be like, okay, look, they don't fit my criteria, but they're still profitable. I will change my criteria or, reevaluate how I like to trade, which I do every 6 months or so. Okay, so this is Euro Japan. I like this too. This is what I was talking about. These are two up candles, very strong. It looks quite nice. They're not too big. Like I would say that's too big. They're not too big. Whereas if you compare it to the Euro US dollar, it's like similar like setup, but this in my mind is just too big because if we're placing here and we got a stop loss just below, we're looking at just over 100 pips. Place 100 up here, 103 so a little bit below. It's just too big for me. So come back here. I like this one. We go here, we go just below. Oh, that is a big candle. You can be a little bit more generous with the Japanese pairs just because sometimes they do have big candles. Like so for me 180 is big, but like if you have a look, see you do get up there's 300, especially if you got some news. Like here we go, like there's some big ones over here. You got 495. Like Jesus, they're big. See 500 467. See, so while this is big compared to some of the other pairs, like especially US CAD or Euro US dollar, which are very small average true range, this one's okay. So place this, say 185. 185, and then we go 185 plus 1, so 186. 186, 186. And then I want same thing, about $20. I always go 0.1 by the way, because that's how I work it out. So we've got 17 and 34. So this is a bit of a shame where it has to be 3% because I don't like doing 17 under the 2. So sometimes you're just going to get this. It's a bit of a big gap, but the larger the account gets, the smaller that gap is actually going to be. I looked at this last night, and I was kind of hoping this would be a fantastic trade. I'm going to place this one, but it's not as good as some of the other setups. So you've got... It's not as good too because it gapped on the open for the week. We had down, and then it actually closed here and then opened here. That's what this big green is. So we opened here, and then we finished up here. That's what the head represents. It represents just from here all the way through the day up here. It could mean it could go like zigzag up here, come all the way down, then back up, but it's just here to here. So it's a big move, and it's a bit strange. We do see gaps from Monday mornings. It's actually quite common, and they do fill a lot of the time in my experience. But it's a little bit dodgy, this one, but I am going to take it because I like it's enough room between the two. It's not the best setup, but it does fit my criteria, so we place it. 90 and 91. So 91, 90. Okay, so same thing. We got $16 and 25. So I go to the one above 20. And then my last one, I just watch the pairs on a bit of a lower time frame. So we ended up with 4 trades. And let's see how they pan out at the end of the week. that is how I scan them in the morning. That took 10 minutes, but if I'm not explaining them out loud, I can do it in about 30 seconds. So, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.